Today we're going to be opening up the lightly squished August Paletteful Packs box. Let's find out what's inside and make some art with it. Oh hey, branding! It's like what is that, felt pencil case? Nothing fancy. It'll definitely work for its intended purpose. The Art Alternatives Woodless Pencil Set. How many boxes? The packaging. Has a little tin box with 6 pencils, a 2B, 4B, and 2 6Bs. So 2 2Bs and 4 not 2Bs. We have 2 of these blending stumps. This is what they look like outside of the packaging. We have some lime green maggots, and I see a bunch of pencils. This is the 2B Wolf's Carbon Royal Sovereign pencil, I'm going to assume. It looks a little charcoaly though. We have a 6B, B, and 4B of those pencils. Pencil Palooza! These are considered by many artists to be the finest drawing and sketching pencils available. Wow, these pencils are actually made of carbon, so they're supposed to have a fine grain and a consistent texture. The next pencil is the General's Layout Extra Black number 555. This looks like a regular pencil. After looking at all those and then you see this lead, it's like a completely different color. Oh, this is actually a water-soluble pencil. It's the All-Stabilo Multi-Surface Graphite Pencil. And the last pencil in here is the General's Drafting Pencil, which I think is basically just a pencil, right? 2B graphite lead, great for sketching, blah, blah, blah. Retails for 81 cents. Woo! Oh, I should be putting stuff in here. Oop, come back. Oh, that's a bunch of erasers. We have the Staedtler's Mars Plastic Eraser. We have a black art eraser, as well as my pride and joy, a Kneaded Eraser. And if we can move some of these little maggots, we get this full-size pad of stipple texture drawing paper. Oh, whoa, that's actually kind of interesting. Let's see if I can focus in on this. Yeah, right. But it sounds like paper. So here we have all of the art supplies in the August Paletteful Packs box, aptly calling it the Pencil Palooza. 2B is honestly one of my favorite leads personally. These are the fancy pencils. This is the 6B, 4B, 2B, and the B. All right, not too impressed with our fancy pencils here. I feel like one of the things I read was that it's not supposed to like have white spots, but I think that's the paper. All right, do you see the difference when you use a smooth paper versus our little bumpy skin textured paper here? Here's the normal pencil. Okay, I kind of prefer that. It doesn't smush in like the fancy pencils did. Water soluble Stabilo. Oh, I just noticed it's got a little swan. Yeah, I think it's a swan. I mean, it could be, not really couldn't be anything else, could it? Try it out with a little water. Ooh, it like gets darker and then obviously smudges around. Kind of the same thing with the carbon. All right, but not so much with our little normal pencil. Next up, the General's Layout Extra Black. Ooh, I like this. It's kind of like a mix between the fancy pencil and a normal pencil. You can try out the woodless pencils. You know they're woodless because they're shiny. With this pencil, you can see that there's graphite, well this one, it's carbon in there, and then there's the wood barrel that goes on the outside. These, there is no wood. You can actually draw when it's this dull, and you can also use the side of it like this, if it was flatter. But you can draw with every part of it, except there's just like a shiny acrylic kind of coating, just so you don't get graphite all over your hands. And obviously we can sharpen these. Ooh, that's messy. Graphite goes everywhere. That is all of the pencils. Yep, all seems to work pretty good. My experience with erasers is they all kind of work the same, except for Kneaded Erasers. They're magical. Oh, cute! It opens, has a little pull tab, and then the little lid pops off. But I guess what's cool about this one is if you're erasing a lot of graphite, you won't see it staining your eraser. Oh, it has that thing too. Oh, yeah. Yep, erases, but then you get like a little dirty. And then our Kneaded Eraser, if you don't already know. So what I love about Kneaded Erasers, you can bend them, you can knead them, you can play with them, you can sculpt with them, and you can erase with them. Now they don't erase as well as some other erasers, but there's a trade-off in that there's no See, I didn't have to blow any little eraser shavings anywhere. So they work really nice if you were like me and you like drawing in your sketchbook on your bed and you don't want to sleep in eraser shavings. This is a good eraser for that. When sketching, I like to leave a little bit of my old sketch behind so I know what not to do and like further my drawing. So it works perfectly for like my process. And that's why I like them. It doesn't even want to let go. It's hugging me. It loves me too. I kind of just sketch some stuff out. This paper is definitely something that I need to get used to. Doesn't quite feel like normal paper. I also really like drawing with pen. I think it helps you formulate shapes. But pencils are just so classic. You can erase them. You can make some really nice looking stuff. Honestly, I like a lot of art supplies. Pencils and pens are just two of them. All right, we got a little character here. I don't know if you can maybe see the texture of the paper now. See the little dots? It's not just the lead doing that, that's actually the paper. Paletteful Packs actually includes 4 prompt words, 1 for each week of the month. So if we look at this guy, we have week 1, Still Life, week 2, Heroes and Villains, week 3, the year 3000, and week 4, Summer. Those all feel completely different. I kind of want to do Still Life. I feel like I have a funny joke for that, but it might not work. We'll see. I'm gonna switch to these pencils. I am notorious for just finding one art supply that I like and sticking with it. Oh, I'm gonna move to the blending stump maybe and blend out the cheeks. Just try and use all these art supplies together and see how they interact. They're mostly all the same thing, so I'm not entirely sure if I'll learn anything new. Ah, see, that's how a pencil normally sharpens. It doesn't spew graphite. What the heck? I thought a fly landed on the tip of this. It doesn't like drawing on top of the graphite that I've already put down. Kind of that same problem I had with the pastels. I don't know if it's the same problem, but it feels the same. So I have to draw like outside of it, or at least when I do my drawing, I need to make sure I use these first, because they don't seem to like playing around with the other art supplies here. Nice 2B, yeah, this is what I'm used to. Tried to make it look like it was tucked in. Ta-da! See this guy? This is basically a mechanical eraser. It extends when you push on this end, and you get a very nice, skinny little fine point eraser. So then you can use this to get those highlights back if you've gone a little overboard. Now we have to come up with like what our idea is going to be. If I do want to use that prompt word of still life, I have this idea where it'll be like a character kind of like posing. Because still life obviously is when you like set up a few objects and then you draw them. But I feel like it'd be hilarious to do a little spin on that and have like a character being really, really stiff is literally posing and looking really stiff and awkward. Maybe something like this. Yeah, I don't know. So like, you know, when you do like an awkward and you just look weird, I don't know. So hard to describe. Kind of like when you're doing like, I'm a little teapot. It's kind of what's coming to mind. But like not quite touching your hip here. Like it'd be comfortable, but like sort of just hovering over it. I'm basically trying to capture as awkward a pose as possible without making it look like it was an accident. So like, I'm gonna try and pull this leg down just a little so it's just, you know, just a little bit awkward. What if this leg is like pointing this way? Oh, that looks so weird. That doesn't look awkward enough. Ooh, what if we grab this leg and like pull it up like this? Ooh, hilarious. And maybe we can put like a really awkward smile. I'm not sure what an awkward haircut would be. We could just give him a mullet. Maybe if we pull the arms down a little. This is probably just gonna end up looking like I don't know how to pose a character. But I'm willing to take that risk. If we can make it look like they're sweating, like they're really trying to stick out this pose and not move. Oh, see, that's too bouncy. You definitely have to leave at least 1 foot flat on the ground. That might be it. I don't know. Let's see if we can find something else, though. The other option is just draw a character completely stiff, like they've seen a ghost. So this might actually be harder than it looks. It's basically symmetrical. See, like, because I naturally just want to give it a little motion. Here's another option. What am I even doing? I wonder if we can use this stuff for anything. I don't know, this one's kind of speaking to me. I like the way it's leaning forward, so there's like expression to it, but it's also weird and stiff. Like the elbows are almost all 90-degree angles on this next part here. Now, which pencil do I want to stick with? Because these carbon pencils don't seem to work on top of the graphite. So that might be a good place to start. Let's start with a B. I'm gonna draw them pretty big. I just don't like this pencil. Oh well, I'm gonna do it anyway. They're looking a bit this way. Their shoulders are right here. Just trying to figure out where all the elements are going on the page. You don't need to be too exact. Not quite touching. We'll try to make them cute because they're gonna look stupid either way and they deserve it. Mullet. And then this hand I had coming out this way. I'm kind of like breaking all my drawing rules right now. Ooh. Okay, let's try to bring some like form and shape to this now that I've figured out that the character does fit on the page. Alright, so in this new sketch, if we compare it to the old sketch, the character was like leaning forward more and this one's not. So now this leg does not make sense. So I'm either going to have to erase it or change everything up. So I'm going to try erasing it first, just lightly. See if we can fix what we messed up. I don't know, that doesn't... That character's definitely leaning over more. I just have to pull this leg backwards a little bit more, which is going to make it look a little less awkward. No, that still looks awkward. What am I talking about? It's losing a lot of what I liked about that sketch. It's not as loose while still trying to be still. Draw the whole body again. This is where a kneaded eraser is really handy because we erase it like this and we'll still be able to see our old sketch underneath so we know what not to do. So basically we just need to turn their body and lean them a little bit more forward. Erase some of those lines we don't need anymore. Actually, this eraser doesn't even seem to erase this carbon all that well. Do I like this better? Do I like this better? Do I like this better? Our beautiful mullet. Let's move over to the smudger here for the cheekies. Now she looks really embarrassed. This is definitely pushing me outside of my comfort zone. And I'm kind of enjoying the challenge. Like trying to draw something stiff without it looking stiff. That's not... Ooh, what if we put her in like yoga gear like it's her first time trying to do yoga? She bought a whole new outfit just for it. Once I get this hand straightened out, then we can start working on adding tones to everything and making sure there's nice contrast and a variety of the tones. I kind of like this one. Just awkward enough. Alright, let's move into adding some tones. So I'd like the clothes to be a lot darker than the rest of this. Maybe these? Color this in. And push really, really hard. Oh, that's right, it doesn't stick to the graphite. Golly. It's okay, we'll see how we can work with this. The smudger helps with this. Does seem to need to be a little darker right there. Go ahead and start filling this in. Now it's not gonna work awesome because I did put the graphite over this. Let's see if we can make this a little bit lighter. So I'm gonna do that and then smudge it. Let's try and make the leggings then even lighter. Oh, wait. Okay, I want this middle section to be white, or the outer section. Probably the outer section makes more sense. Let's add some carbon to these inner section of the leggings. It does seem to darken when I add the blending stump. Just use what's left to color in this area. Now I want this section here, so this will be white, these little lines there, and this I want to be gray. Maybe I'll use the water soluble one. Fill those in, and then add water. I can fill that in one solid color. I just need it to be a little lighter than the rest. I'd like these white bits to pop, so I would like the skin to be just a little bit darker here. So let's see if I can just add water as it is and see if that darkens it up. And we can still add like shading on top of that. I think once you add water, it's not going to be erasable. So hopefully I'm doing this in the right order. Definitely grab that eraser and lighten this up even more. She looks like Shamu. And darken up the hair as much as possible. I did put that graphite there, so this is not quite working. Dark pigment I really, really want. I wonder if I erase maybe. And then go over it. That's working better. There we go. We found a solution. Grab the blending stump and fill in all those little white areas. Blending. Blend, blend, blend. I'm gonna try using a white gel pen. See if I can use it for some finer details. Definitely not as fine a point as my mechanical pencil. I just feel like I can't get very fine details, and I feel like I'm drawing rather large what I usually draw, and with my mechanical pencil, my 0.5 lead, I can get a lot more details than this. And it erases better than these. I'm really not a fan of these schmancy fancy pencils that, what did it say? Let me quote it correctly. Considered by many artists to be the finest drawing and sketching pencils available. Nope, I don't need these schmancy pantsy pencils. You definitely can't mix these pencils with graphite pencils because they don't work on top of them. Just seems like there's too many limitations. If it's a rating between woohoo and poo-poo, I give it a poo-poo. It's kind of interesting testing out new pencils that I've never used before and seeing how they work together and things like that, but I definitely enjoy my, actually I just had to buy more, my 0.5mm 2B hardness. I don't know. It was like $2 for all this. It came with 3 packs. I feel like it draws light for when you're like sketching, and then you can go in with the fine points and darken up the lines, and it works really, really nice for that. But even though they're not my cup of tea, they're definitely art supplies that I've seen a lot of different artists use. But I think as an artist and you grow, you kind of learn what art supplies you like to use the best and what works the best for your art process. And these schmancy pencils were not for me. I do want to thank you guys for watching, and I also want to thank Paletteful for sending me this box to try out and to share with you guys. I'll also be giving away these art supplies, so there'll be a link in the description for the giveaway where I'll pass these art supplies on to one of you. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys all next week, and I hope you have a delicious evening full of waffles. Bye!